welcome back to part 2 of Full Metal Box, or Full Faux Metal Box I should say. Okay, as I'm hoping you can see, I've now gone round all of the edges and you overlap onto that side, and that will give you a better finish than if you'd have left it raw. So the next thing that I need to do is to put the hinges back together. Tiny little screws. Right, I've actually moved the light for today's filming in the hopes of getting less glare, because the metal tape is shiny. I'm hoping it's not too dark so you can still see what's going on. It will allow you to see the details a lot clearer. Two screws. I'm hoping to get this all done in one take now, and hopefully my buzzer doesn't go off because my youngest is due home soon. That's the last screw in place. Okay, so once you've covered everything in foil tape, you've gone around all your edges, you've put your screws back into place, your box is complete. The next thing we're going to be working on is the detailing. Okay, so to get your detailing looking like that, you'll need your ball tool. And I recommend, this isn't actually the one that I used, but get the biggest ball you can manage that you've got at home. You will need the smaller ball tool for the finer details. Okay, let's show you all on this side. Right, the way that you do this is give it your detail a good rub over with your thumb so that you can see what's going on, and then what you're going to do is just go around, trace around the outer edges with your ball tool, and this will give your design a defined edge. Okay, as I said, this isn't the ideal ball tool to use. You really should use a bigger one, but I've left that on the desk on the other side of the room, so I'm going to work with this one. So all around the edges, and then you go down through the middle sections. So once again, go all around the edges, and then you go over the middle sections. You can get quite fine detail. From your die cuts. And this is a Joy die cut that I'm using here. And if you look at this one here, get that in shot, that is actually a tattered lace die. And those of you who are familiar with tattered lace know that their dies are really detailed. So I'm just going to finish this one off, and then we're going to get on to the messy part. Around the outside. Fill that in. Okay. Right, to get into pieces like this, you're literally just going to do the same thing. Go around the outside, fill it in. Around the outside, fill it in. It does take a bit of time. With this type of tape, the plasterer's tape, my advice is to just go over it like that with the side of your ball tool, and that'll bring the pattern up. And then with the bling, I've just gone around carefully and then worked that in. Okay, for the messy bit, you can use newspaper, but I find the best thing to do is to use a piece of baking paper, or if you've got one, a non-stick mat, because you're going to be working with paint. Get yourself a couple of pieces of kitchen roll ready. If you're working on newspaper, you run the possibility that your paint will stick to the newspaper and then you've got bits of paper stuck on. So, bit of a squirt, doesn't need to be much. Oh, got less paint in here than I thought. Then brush it in. Okay, try and work it into all of the dips that you've got, that you've worked in for the detailing. You don't actually need a lot of paint for doing this. And you can add more paint later on if you want to. Right, do not do anything with that at the moment. Don't worry about it getting knocked or what have you. Typical YouTube. And you only really want a thin coat of paint. You're going to get messy. Now you can apply the paint with a sponge if you want. Paint gloss is just my preferred for this. And it's a cheap paintbrush from Pound Shop. I think I got about a pack of 5 for £1. The paint does wash out if you wash it straight away. If you don't get a chance to wash it out straight away, like I won't be today, obviously, because we're filming, it doesn't matter because you didn't pay loads for it. And there you go. And if all goes well, you won't have much on the inside. If you have, a baby wipe will get rid of that. Right, so my suggestion at this point is to give it a couple of minutes. Just to let the paint start to dry a little bit. Now there are different ways of colouring your metal tape. You can use the Ranger Adirondack, I hope I pronounced that, those inks. And they come in little boxes, about bottles about so big, and you can get them in packs of 3. They're not that expensive, but I haven't actually had much experience of using those yet, so I won't be showing you that today. you don't have to use black paint, but the effect I'm going for is dug up, so that's why I'm using the black. Right, I work on dabbing for this. You can wipe, but I find it takes a lot of paint off. So if you dab, the idea is that the raised parts the paint will come off, and the little dip parts the paint will stay place. Now how much paint you take off depends on how shiny you want it. I quite like the detailing to show up a lot. So things like the clock here, I'll take quite a lot off the top of that, but I want to make sure that the crevices in it and around it have still got some paint. And on this clock here, your tin dips, you've got your clock there, but your tin dips have still got plenty of black paint in them. I like the rivets to stand out and have some black around the bottom of the rivets. If you scrunched up your eiderdown tape, like you get the creases, that makes it a bit more interesting. And if you find you've taken off too much paint, just add a bit more. And you'll see where you've got the edges where the tape's gone down, you'll get lines there. Over here, this is the plasterer's tape. And you see detailing on mesh is great for this. And it's cheap stuff to use. Right, my paint's getting quite dry now, so I'm having to wipe rather than dab. But you can still get the effect. Okay. This area. Straight away you're getting that detailing on that die cut. You're just going to keep going around. Rubbing off the paint. Exposing some of that metal tape again. And most of the metal tape. But as you can see, it leaves like a dark patina on it. Now my 8-year-old likes this technique. He does when his friends have birthdays. He'll do them a little plaque with their name on, so we'll use some quite flat wooden letters or even chipboard letters, and then he'll metal tape over and do the painting and rubbing off. So it's a great one to do with kids, with whatever you want to put underneath the metal tape. It doesn't have to be a box. Just come out well. detail coming through for the die cut there. I've seen this done with pink paint before, and it worked for the project. They weren't going for a grungy effect, just to show up the detailing. I'm going to take most of the paint off of the bottom. Okay. Right, usually I take a little bit more time, but I don't want to bore you. Baby wipes. Can't craft without baby wipes. Okay. I am going to be adding some Treasures Gold gilding wax. As I said before, this one's Renaissance. This costs about £6 a tub. Now I've had this, oh gosh, over a year, and I've used it on loads of projects. I've used it on cards, I've used it on layouts, used it on mixed media projects, on canvases, on boxes, all sorts of stuff. Still only got a little bit listed. It's really simple to use. Use a cloth or your finger, whatever you like. It does smell quite strong, but I find where you go over the paint, it gives quite a good rust effect, and it will sit in crevices, it will sit on top of raised points. So it's great for going around rivets, especially if you just go under a rivet, and if you've got on a canvas, it looks like you've got rust coming down off the rivets, and you only need a tiny bit. We'll pop it across the top. It stops it being just a shiny metal. Adds a bit more story, I think, in that you've got the rusty bits. If it's old thing dug up, it's not just going to be a shiny piece of silver. Right, I'm going to go around the rest in a minute, but I want to show you. My advice is give it a little bit of a bath. Not too much, or you'll take more paint off, and it just assures you've just got the wax on there, and it's not going to come off on whoever touches it. If you go and you show it to people, they go like that. Instinct is to touch. Oops. Kind of buffs it a bit, and like the acrylic paint, you can add more later if you decide it needs more in certain areas. side. There you go. Right, now I could be making a mistake here, but I want it to be something I want to try. It's just building flakes. I'm just going to see if I can get some to, yeah, it is, it's sticky. Okay, so you can add building flakes to this. That's something new. It came to me while I was playing. I'd advise not to use so bright a colour though. That's a bit fiery for this snake. But that can be dulled down. Just a little touch of black paint. Good to experiment. It doesn't always go right, but sometimes you can get good results. I've only used building flakes once before. It was a complete disaster. I had building flakes everywhere. Projects didn't work, and it's still sitting on the still frame. Help me. Okay, please bear in mind I haven't used any glue, so I don't know how successful this will be, but it seems to be staying for the most part. Little bits have come off. And there you have it. So what I'll do is I will take some pictures with the front hinge back on and with better lighting, and I'll add them to the end of the video. So thank you for